Welcome back, Algebra 2B. I'm here working on problems 13 through 18 on the review for Chapter 6. So now we're adding and subtracting rational expressions. First thing we need to do is look for a common denominator. And in number 13, you'll notice that they do have a common denominator. So now we can just add the numerators across. Negative 3x plus 3 plus 9x minus 6 over that common denominator, 2x minus 1. Now we need to combine like terms, which gives us 6x minus 3 over that same denominator, 2x minus 1. And now we need to look at the numerator and denominator to see if we can factor either one. And if you look at the numerator, we can factor out a GCF of 3. So I'm left with 2x minus 1 times the quantity 3 and 2x minus 1 in the denominator. Look for common terms, which we see 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1, which reduces to 1. And we're left with our final answer, 3. For number 14, we now have 3 terms, but it's the same idea. We need to look for a common denominator. And if you notice, there is not a common denominator. So we need to find the least common multiple of all 3 of those. You notice we have an x squared here, a y squared here, and a 2xy. And the least common multiple, which I suggest you write at the top of each one of these questions, is 2x squared, y squared. And what that means is we need to get 2x squared, y squared in the denominator of each one of these expressions. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to write the first expression. I'm going to leave a little space. Okay, write the second expression. We'll leave a little bit of space. And write the third expression. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each one of these expressions by a fancy form of 1 in order to get the LCM as the common denominator. So for the first one, it has an x squared, but it's missing a 2y squared. So I'm going to multiply this whole first term by 2y squared over 2y squared. Now the second term, it has a y squared, but it's missing 2x squared. So I'm going to multiply the whole term by 2x squared over 2x squared. And the last term, it has 2xy, but it's missing an xy. So I'm going to multiply xy over xy. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these expressions. I get 4y squared over this 2x squared y squared minus 6x squared over this 2x squared y squared. And last but not least, 5xy over 2x squared y squared. And now I have that common denominator. Now if I put all these together, I'm left with 4y squared minus 6x squared minus 5xy over the common denominator, 2x squared y squared. Okay, and this is our final answer. Now let's look at number 15. Number 15 is the same idea. We need a common denominator. So I need to look for the LCM. Now in this case, the LCM is a factor x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 3. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in number 14. I'm going to multiply both these terms by what the denominator is missing. So if I have 3x over x minus 1, I'm going to multiply that by x plus 3 over x plus 3. And now I'm going to write the second term, 2 over x plus 3, and I'm going to multiply that by x minus 1 over x minus 1. So now they will both have a common denominator of our LCM. Okay, this is one of the trickiest parts of this problem. We now need to distribute the 3x to the whole quantity x plus 3 and distribute this negative 2 to the whole quantity x minus 1. So we have 3x squared plus 9x minus, in the numerator, 2x plus 2. Okay, and this is all over the x minus 1 times x plus 3. We now need to simplify the numerator. Okay, and if we simplify the numerator, we get 3x squared plus 7x plus 2 over x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 3. Now if you'll notice, if you look at the numerator, it is factorable. And if we factor it, we're left with 3x plus 1 times x plus 2 over x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 3. And if you'll notice, there are no common factors, so this is actually our final answer. Now let's look at number 16. Number 16 is the same idea. We need a common denominator. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to factor that denominator. So I'm left with x plus 2 over x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 1. And I'm going to rewrite that second term because I did not do anything to it. Okay, and now what you'll notice is that this first term has a quantity x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 1, where the second one only has the quantity x minus 1. So that makes our LCM x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 1. So what I need to do is I need to multiply this second expression times x plus 4 over x plus 4. Make sure I distribute this negative 2x so that I get an x plus 2. And I'm going to add all the numerators together. Minus 2x squared minus 8x over that LCM x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 1. Now what I'm going to do, combine like terms. So I'm left with negative 2x squared minus 7x plus 2 over x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 1. The numerator does not factor, so in fact this is our final answer. Okay, 17 and 18 are the two trickiest problems in these problems. Okay, we have three terms, we still need a common denominator. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor that last term. So I'm going to rewrite the first two, and now I'm going to factor the denominator of that third expression. So I'm left with x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 3. What you'll notice is that the first two terms, first two expressions, do not have the LCM, which is, in this case, x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 3. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to multiply this first expression, x over x minus 3, times the quantity x plus 4 over x plus 4. I need to multiply that second term, 2 over x plus 4, by the quantity x plus 3 over x plus 3. And I'm going to leave that last term exactly the same. Okay, now I need to distribute this x to the x plus 4. I need to distribute this 2 to the x plus 3. And I'm left with x squared plus 4x minus 2x minus 6 minus that 14 all over my common denominator of x plus 4 times the quantity x minus 3. Now I'm going to combine like terms, and I get x squared plus 2x minus 8 over that common denominator. Now I need to factor the numerator, which gives me x plus 4 over the quantity x minus 2. X plus 4, my denominator stays exactly the same. Look for like terms. I can cross out x plus 4 over x plus 4, and I'm left with my final answer, x minus 2 over x minus 3. Okay, last but not least, number 18. We need to do the same thing we did right here. I need to factor that first term, or the second term's denominator and numerator. Okay, and I have x plus 5. So now I'm going to factor the numerator, which gives me, actually the numerator is not factorable. So I'm just going to leave the numerator exactly the same. But the denominator factors into x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 3. And what you'll notice is that a first expression is missing an x plus 3. So I need to multiply that whole first expression times the quantity x plus 3 over x plus 3. And I'm going to leave the second one exactly the same. Okay. Now I need to distribute 2x minus 3 times the quantity x plus 3. That's the distribution property, or if you've seen it, it is also FOIL, if you remember how to FOIL. Okay, let me make this a little more clear. X plus 3. Now if I distribute that, I'm going to get 2x squared 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 over x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 3 minus that second term that we still haven't changed around. Combine like terms, and I left with x squared plus 7x plus 10 over that common denominator. I can factor the numerator into x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 2 over x plus 5 over the quantity x plus 3. Cancel out like terms, and I'm left with, or reduce like terms, and I'm left with x plus 2 over x plus 3. And that's my final answer.